Okay, hello. My name is Sailor, and this is my TED Talk for the day. So, the first thing I wanted to talk about is different ethical theories. And the first ethical theory is utilitarianism. So, basically, utilitarianism, this is the dictionary definition, is that actions are right if they are useful or for the benefit of the majority. So, one simple example of this would be telling a friend a lie. If this friend would benefit greater by knowing something that is not true, that would technically be considered the right thing to do in this scenario. And another example, which is a little bit broader, is the idea of going to war. So, the outcome of going to war is usually a lot of people lose their lives, and the right thing to do in this scenario would be to go to war because the overall benefit would be for your country to win, therefore saving the lives of them. So the next theory I wanted to talk about is Kantianism. So basically, this is an ethical theory that was put forward by a German philosopher in the 18th century. And this theory is described that duty, goodwill, and moral worth are vital to determine the morality of an action. More importantly, he emphasizes that duty should be the fundamental aspect one should consider when doing an action. Moreover, he further explains that humans, being rational beings, should use their reasoning ability or rational thinking when making ethical decisions. Thus, he describes that a person will be engaging in a morally good decision action when he is guided and motivated only by goodwill and duty. So this is an example. If you hide someone from someone else who is trying to inflict harm on them, and then the person trying to inflict harm on those people come to your door asking if they are there. As described by this theory, the ethical thing to do would be to be telling the truth and to say, yes, they are there. So that's that example. And then the next theory is ethics of care. So this is the moral theory known as the ethics of care, and it implies that there is moral significance in the fundamental elements of relationships and dependencies in human life. Care ethics seeks to maintain relationships by contextualizing and promoting the well being of caregivers and care receivers in a network of social relations, most often defined as a practice or virtue rather than a theory as such. Care. It involves maintaining the world of and meeting the needs of ourselves and others, and it helps build on the motivation to care for those who are dependent and vulnerable. The next ethical theory is virtue ethics. Virtue ethics is arguably the oldest ethical theory in the world, with origins in ancient Greece, and it defines good actions as ones that display, embody character traits like courage, loyalty, or wisdom. A virtue itself is a disposition to act, think, and feel in certain ways. And these are all my dictionary definitions of each of these theories. So the topic I really wanted to focus on today was iCloud data, and more importantly, storage, your iCloud storage. So these are a few pictures, I guess, to almost describe iCloud storage in a way, what it would look like. But basically, it is your iCloud is where all of your data is stored. And your data could be includes, your photos, mail, contacts, notes, messages, all of the above, basically all the information that you store on your phone. So I'm going to give a little bit of background information on what is iCloud data. What is iCloud storage? So iCloud storage is a product of a brand named Apple. iCloud is. This brand specifies in tech products. These tech products have special services, including iCloud. And this specific service, in simple terms, stores the individual user's data into a cloud. This cloud can hold many different data, including files, photos, and notes. Obviously, and other things like messages and all of that. And so, how did this get started? So, iCloud was first created in 2011 after a service called MobileMe was launched. And this was invented to help individual users have an easy point of storage that can be transferred among other iOS products. And iOS products are Apple. So, what is my ethical dilemma with iCloud? Or how would I present this? So, I had a couple that I did want to touch upon, talk about. The first one is it okay to use iCloud storage if you aren't aware of where this data is being stored or how? So, me personally, I do not know much about, or I didn't before this, about where my information on my phone was being stored and who has permission to see that. And then the next example was what iCloud data should be stored. Can iCloud data be stored even if there's inappropriate data? So my ethical position on both. For the first one, is it okay to use iCloud storage if you aren't aware where this is being stored or how? So the reason I questioned it is because many different users do not know how iCloud storage works, first of all. I do not. Many people don't know where their information is being sent through and how, and this can be seen as Apple products having an advantage over the user and being able to look at their information, which causes a disadvantage to the user, the person who has the iOS product. And then for the other one, what is iCloud data? What iCloud data can be stored? Can iCloud data be stored even if there's inappropriate data? So, is it ethically right that Apple allows inappropriate data to be stored? This could include someone taking inappropriate photos from another person's phone and storing it on their phone. So, I personally think I don't think that it is ethically correct for Apple to let certain people have data that could be considered inappropriate or harmful towards other individuals. What I mean by this, if someone has pictures of a crime scene or something that they were a part of, I think that Apple should not be able to ethically, morally support that, have it in their product, essentially. Because they do have the ability to look at these certain things. In conclusion, I think that iOS products and iCloud data in general can be very considered ethically tricky due to the fact that the user doesn't really have the knowledge of what they're using, what their iOS product, where their storage is going. And I think that that can be considered not illegal because it's not, but I think it can be considered very ethically wrong. I think that people should be aware, and I think that there's many different ways to help somebody be aware of where their data is going and who can see it and when they can see it and all of the above. But thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Let me know what you think, if you consider this ethically wrong and your opinion on it. Thank you.